radical black racist. Let's just say that. Okay, it's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with it. Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say their name? We're gonna give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And their shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Yo, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was...
Remy Ma and Papoose's relationship is intensifying, and it's not only about their split. What's actually happening? Let's dissect it for years. Fat Joe has been drawn into the drama, and Papa's new girlfriend is making audacious maneuvers that are causing even more turmoil. Fat Joe, who was already well known in hip-hop, decided to create something bigger than Remy Ma, and the two became like family. Their relationship started in the late 1990s. When Terror Squad was just a music group, it became a crew that felt like a home for talented artists. One of the first people Joe brought in was Remy, who he saw had raw talent and fiery energy and knew could dominate the rap game. He signed her, mentored her, and gave her the spotlight to thrive. But their relationship was never just business. Joe treated her like a sister over the years, sticking together through every high and low, demonstrating their unbreakable bond. But now things have taken a startling turn. Papoose, Remy's husband, has made some shocking allegations, claiming that Remy has been unfaithful to him for years and that he has been attempting to dissolve their marriage for some time. It's not just him who's stirring things up. His girlfriend Claressa Shields is also alleged to have been threatening Remy, adding fuel to the fire.
Right, and he admits it. This ain't me talking me on his back. Drugs fucked him up. You know what's crazy is, in this hip-hop game, Fat Joe really is the Don. What I mean to tell you is, people don't disrespect me and do crazy shit in front of me. So whenever I went to hang out with Scott Storch, because he's my brother, they wouldn't use no drugs, they wouldn't sniff no cocaine, they wouldn't do nothing. Scott Storch told me that the second I would walk out that door, a kilo of cocaine to come.
It becomes even more complicated. Papoose and professional boxer Claressa Shields appear to be having a chat in the recent text messages that Remy shared screenshots of. She even hinted at a major disclosure connected to her next film release, suggesting that Shields is cautioning Papoose to act quickly regarding a problem that could lead to PR issues. In addition to the accusations that Papoose intimidated her and even attempted to call the police, Remy also claims that he physically abused her and threatened to release private information, leaving fans wondering about yet another level of betrayal in the already unstable situation. Of retaliation in retaliation, Papoose denied these claims, but he remained steadfast and accused Remy of cheating. To make matters worse, he even disclosed that she spent Christmas 2023 with her alleged boyfriend EA. During the holidays, Papoose posted a picture of Remy with Easy, which fueled even more rumors as this feud unfolds. As people wonder how these complicated relationships will affect their bond, Joe's name has been dragged into the chaos, and his long-standing friendship with Remy is now under scrutiny. For the time being, the drama is still unfolding with no imminent answers as to what will happen to Remy Ma and everyone else caught in the crossfire. Time will tell, but one thing is certain. Even if Papoose wanted to, he couldn't forget this story yet. One memory stuck in his mind: a tense encounter with battle rapper Easy. At first, it seemed innocuous and respectful. Easy had shaken Papoose's hand with confidence, a simple gesture that carried weight, trust, camaraderie, and honor. However, what happened next? Their conflict wasn't simply about love gone wrong. It was a fight of pride, hurt, and OS that left no room for remorse. Meanwhile, their public feed grabbed headlines, dividing followers, and the fallout between them turned into a spectacle, with every new claim adding fuel to the fire. Papoose's honesty and ethics were admired by people who supported him. Remy's admirers praised her bravery and saw her unrepentant attitude as evidence of her resilience, while others accused him of bringing their personal problems into the public eye. Despite everything, their daughter was caught in the middle, facing a world that now knew every embarrassing detail about her parents. Connection on the decline, the burden of everything was heavy, but the drunkenness simply increased. In a post that felt like a final farewell, Papoose finally vented his frustration, saying, "She's playing the victim." Fed up with the never-ending cycle of public arguments, he disclosed that he had repeatedly requested a divorce, but that his attempts at private solutions had been rejected. He said, "She'd rather clout chase on social media than sit down and handle this like adults." He claimed that for Papoose, social media wasn't just petty. It was detrimental, and he saw the toll it was having on their 6-year-old daughter, who had no choice but to grow up in the shadow of. Behind the public chaos, her family's struggles were a deeper truth. Their story wasn't just about egos or betrayal. It was a raw reflection of the complexities of love and the pain of losing someone you once trusted completely. In their case, the balance had tragically tipped toward heartbreak. In the background of it all, the quiet, enduring presence of an ancient tree seemed to mirror their struggles, its roots dug deep and standing firm despite the storms. It whispered a simple truth: growth and healing begin with acceptance. The past can be erased, but it can be faced, whether Papoose and their story was no longer just about betrayal or a failed marriage. It was a reminder of resilience and a call to endure, heal, and move forward. Whether Remy could hear that call or not, their world continued to move on, and the drama between Papoose Rai and everyone involved continued to play out. For the sake of my daughter, I didn't want this to become a social media circus. Only time could tell whether Remy would find their way forward or remain trapped in the chaos. "She must go to school and deal with this," Papoose stated in a frustrated tone, and I remained silent the entire time just to listen to her. Represented the burden he had been carrying in an attempt to shield his child from the fallout of every rebuttal, and the situation only became more unstable, serving as a continual reminder of the shaky bonds between them all. Shields, who was always quick to seize opportunities, used the raging controversy to highlight her career rather well. She wrote a smooth transition to promote her upcoming fight, which is scheduled for February 2nd in Flint, Michigan, for more heavyweight titles, and The Fire Inside comes out on Christmas Day in a nearby theater. This was a calculated move that used the drama as a springboard to direct attention back toward her career. Accomplishments while Supply made fun of her detractors, but Shields wasn't finished. In a since-deleted tweet, she used the fight as a joke, taking aim at Remy in a spoof announcement that pitted Claressa Shields against the real Rama. "Come get your whooped crash out on February 2nd. Her humor was scathing, framing their argument as if it were a boxing match and reveling in its ridiculousness. Shields seemed to enjoy using the chaos as material for her witty repartee, ironing the situation while maintaining the focus on herself. She also added more heat. Shields, calling out what she perceived as inconsistencies in Remy's behavior. "How does a woman with 2 boyfriends get mad at a man for having a girlfriend?" she wrote, referencing the tangled accusations involving Papoose. If I'm not the only one, why the hell are you tagging me? Her words were cutting, positioning herself as someone merely caught in the crossfire of a messy and contradictory situation. Never one to back down, Ruby retaliated with fire, alleging that Papoose had privately insulted Shields by saying, "I've never seen you because you're ugly." The personal attack was intended to undermine Shields' self-esteem and publicly discredit her, but Remy didn't stop there. In a subsequent post, she revealed a private and embarrassing detail, accusing Papoose of falling asleep on the phone with Shields while lying in her house. "This dumma fell asleep on the phone with Claressa Shields while lying in my house," she wrote. "He refuses to leave, and this is supposed to be a world champion boxer." Despite her professional success, her contempt was evident, portraying Shields as desperate. The insults seemed to go away, or at least that's what her public comments indicated. She then emphasized her career, her focus on her impending fight, and her capacity to rise above the drama, misery, and love she had written before doubling down on her narrative that she wouldn't let the chaos drag her down. Media exploded. All Papoose wanted was to move on and concentrate on his daughter, but the constant attention made that feel impossible. As days turned into weeks, the feed veered further from its origins, becoming less about the initial issues and more about pride, ego, and the need to move on. Fans and followers woke up and turned the feed into a public spectacle. The debates were intense, with some taking Remy's side. When every new post added depth to a story that had already gotten out of hand. It served as a reminder of how easily private disputes can turn into public spectacles, transforming suffering into amusement for the world to analyze. The question was still who would emerge from this with their dignity intact, if anyone, and for Remy, Shields, and Papoose, the future appeared to be anything but clear. Tangled in a web of accusations and misunderstandings, it had become a sea tale about love, betrayal, and the dangers of letting private battles play out in the public eye. One thing was certain: this story wasn't fading from memory anytime soon. As the drama developed, fans couldn't help but wonder how Fat Joe felt about it all. With rumors of gang affiliations and a fierce loyalty to Remy Ma, it seemed like Joe's name was inextricably linked to the chaos. Fat Joe has long been respected in the streets, a reputation that even legends like Tony Yo and 50 Cent have acknowledged. These aren't guys who give compliments casually. One of them called Joe the real deal, and even 50 Cent, despite past beefs, acknowledged that Joe commands serious respect in the streets. This isn't just industry chatter. It's a reluctant nod to Joe's credibility, built not just on his music, but on the life he's lived. Joe's street tra wasn't just about rapping. It was about surviving and thriving in a tough environment. Tales of gang war shootouts and leading the terror squad have always swirled around him. Opponents claim he may be embellishing for publicity, but powerful figures in the industry frequently support these allegations, strengthening his legend. What's even more intriguing is how complicated Joe's street reputation seems. Some insiders speculate his connections were more extensive than most people thought, possibly extending beyond local. Thanks to powerful shadowy figures in the Bronx and beyond. People pulling strings behind the scenes. Was Joe just a talented rapper shaped by his environment? Or was he playing a much larger game, one that went far beyond music? While many rappers twist the truth to gain influence, Joe's past feels like an open secret that only a select few dare to discuss publicly. Could it be that Joe wasn't just living street culture in the Bronx, but actively influencing it? There are rumors that Joe survived the shooting and that he was involved in payback that involved real street-level moves, rather than just music feuds. The theories then get out of control. Some whisper that Joe's influence was so deep, it made him almost untouchable. There are unverified but intriguing rumors that his reach extended to people even law enforcement wouldn't mess with. Allegations of corruption, shady deals, and ties to international crime networks. Could this explain why, despite the chaos and controversies, Joe has managed to avoid major legal trouble? Joe's name carries weight not just in hip-hop, but in places most of us will never know, whether it's exaggerated tales or undeniable truths. His legacy remains wrapped in mystery, fueling the debate about who he really is. A product of his environment, a power player in the streets, or maybe a mix of both, is fact. Joe's enduring presence in both the music industry and the streets. Was it just luck, or was he playing a game so strategic that even his rivals couldn't keep up? Some fans believe his longevity is no accident. Even 50 Cent, who had one of the most notorious feuds with Joe in the early 2000s, has implied that Joe's reputation wasn't just hype. Their feud was intense, with diss tracks flying back and forth, but underneath the drama, there was an unspoken respect. 50 Cent acknowledged that he didn't like Joe, but he couldn't deny the loyalty and respect he commanded in the streets. He even likened Joe's fluency to that of a New York suburbanite, saying, "Although I worked for everything I got, although I never extorted anybody, although I didn't bully anybody, people feared Fat Joe and the Terror Squad." In that way, for 50 Cent to acknowledge Joe's power even begrudgingly speaks volumes. This kind of respect wasn't just talk. It was something Joe earned not only in the music world, but also in the streets, where his name carried real weight. According to fans, this influence might spell big trouble for Papoose.